Hello, my name's Jim. Most people call me Washboard Jim, the singing day trader. I want to welcome you to this coming week's watch list. On the watch list, I'm going to start off with NVAX. Here's my little watch list that I performed here today. So NVAX, I see we bounced off the 200 SMA at 159. So I'm looking for an entry at 159 on NVAX. Take it to easily up to the 50-day SMA. So that's the 200-day to the 50-day SMA with a pivot point somewhere right around. I got a channel right here, so we could have a breakout on up to about 178. So I'm looking for an entry at 159 with a pivot point of 166 and a resistance of 178, and that's on NVAX. The next one I'm looking at is HIMX. It had a pullback Friday. It hit 792 support level. I'm going to pull up a different chart here. It's the same thing. I have the 200 MSA and SMA curling up. So I'm looking maybe at an entry level of around a little under $8 and try to play in this channel up to 852. So that'll also be on watch. And that is HIMX. The next one on the watch list is AFMD. Now AFMD had a major sell-off Friday. As you can see, we had a descending triangle that came down, then consolidated between 2 and 210 on the and I also use as a tool that I use the SMA on a daily 1-minute chart, which usually gives me, a golden cross or something, maybe an entry to get in. So I'm looking for a pullback maybe to $2. If I can get in at 2, I'll be taking it up to 210, and then we'll see where it goes on from there. And that is AFMD. As you can see, it's a pretty good little channel right in here, so we could run it all the way up to 225 if it picks up momentum. You see what happened Thursday. It had a major bounce and then corrected itself and sold off. And we touched right there at the 200 SMA at 199. So if I can get in at $2, I'll be satisfied to take 10 cents to a pivot point. I have a little pivot point channel between 210 and 215. And we could run up and touch that 50-day SMA. These are just one of many tools that I use on the SMA. I use the EMA on a day trade, and I'm usually looking for ascending triangles at that moment. So the next one on the watch list is CRON, C-R-O-N. CRON is a Canadian and American pot stock that runs pretty good. We ran it up when they had the vote legal in Canada. It passed, of course. So maybe we can touch back down here to the 200-day SMA at 656. If not, I'll just kind of keep this one on watch. We have a little flat top, a little pullback here at 669. So around 670 would be a good entry for CRON. I'll pull it up on the daily chart. You see, we kind of did have a little pullback here at 690 after hours, and it bounced back up to 698. So let's see if we can try to get right down in here around maybe 682, and I'll add a little trend line right here. And that'll be around 682. I have a 637 alert set, so definitely it'll be oversold at 637. We had an RSI crossover after hours, and it bounced right off that RSI crossover. And that is CRON, C-R-O-N. The next one on the watch list is here. Let me pull up the yearly chart on here, magnify it. This has been a wonderful little run right here on here. Bring it back one more level here. So we had a little pullback. We had a high Thursday at 24.35. Corrected itself, pulled itself back to a low of 21.51. And I see this top of this candle base right here. So I'm going to go ahead on here, and I still think it's bullish. And any pullback on here will be a good play. We'll set that right there around 22.55. So if we get a pullback again to 21.55, that'll be a good entry on here. And if we pull back more to my low support of $20, that'll be a strong buy. You see how we've touched down 3-4 different times right there last week. So that's HEAR here. The next one on the list was one of my best runners that I had picked last week on last week's watch list. I said we'd probably get a little pullback, and we did. We got that little red candle. It pulled back and consolidated, and then we took off and went off to the moon. So we had a high last Friday at 879. I still think this stock is bullish. So I'm going to be looking at, let's change this to a 5-day, 15-minute. So maybe if we can get a pullback to this old resistance level of 846, that might be a good place to get in at. If not, we'll take it down to the next support level of 830. And if it touched off the 200 SMA on the 5-day, then that would be a strong buy. See how it kind of bounces off that 50-day SMA? I don't know if I keep saying 200 or 50, but that's a 50 and this is my 200. When they bounce off the 200, it's usually a strong buy, but it's been following up this 50-day SMA all the way. And we had a double top here at 885. So keep that in mind also. And we had the same thing last Thursday. We had a double top. It corrected itself and then pulled back and then bounced up and proceeded that double top right there. That's GALT. Then NIHD is another one that we ran all week last week. From the low of 227. I flipped this a couple times last week. Every time in the morning it breaks out and it kind of consolidates and corrects itself. Friday we had an ascending triangle and it pulled back. So I'm going to keep this one on my watch list. If we get down to, and I called 348 in the room, and right before close we hit that 348, 349, and it bounced up 10 cents. So keep NIHD on your watch list. I still think it's a momentum play. And we had a top of 373. So NIHD. The next one is TOPS. TOPS had a nice little run Thursday evening off some news. It went up to 124. It pulled back to my natural support level, which I like right here at 107. And I've been calling TOPS 107 support in the room. And this you can play for a flipper. It's got a little negative sentiment on it by some traders, but I like this stock. It bought, if I remember right, it bought 2 more ships. And DRYS also ran last week real good. So the shipping stocks are in great shape. And TOPS ships oil, so that's what I like about TOPS. And I'm going to set me an alert here on TOPS at the ask below 108. And I probably will get into it again and flip it for an easy 7-8 cents. If not, I'm in it right now at I think I sold it. Yeah, I sold it at 116. That was where I had a bag on it. But I'm going to get back in here at my support level of 107, 108. and that's tops. And then the final one, GLMD. Last week, GLMD ran from 680 all the way up to 2750. So it stayed in a channel. It created a channel, called this little support level right here on, I think it was Tuesday or yeah, it's probably it was Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday. It was Wednesday. And we got in it right here, and I sold it right about up in here. And if I'd have held on, I could have made me $3 a share on that one. That's GLMD. It also pulled back to that level after hours, bounced off that 200 SMA, which I have on a 5-day chart. Then we had a little, kind of not liking this right here, so I'd like to see that 50-day bounce up again and create another golden cross. So it closed it right at 1650. So I'm not in this stock. I'm going to watch it, GLMD. But again, we had a great run from $7 all the way up to $27. That's a $20 play that day on momentum. So that's my watch list for next week. Plus, we also play off the scanner, off trade ideas. So we're a scanner trading group, but also keep a little watch list on the side. And I have many watch lists that I go by. I like to play on volume, momentum, and then off of the scanner that comes up, pops up in the morning. Off of news, I'm basically a guy that plays off of news. And I appreciate everybody watching the video of my watch list for next week. And always keep in mind, I have my links below my channel there on StockTwits. And also, I'm also on Twitter. So you can follow some of my alerts on there also. And I wish everybody a great trading week. Follow me. Have your friends follow me. I've been day trading for over 12 years. And I consider myself a master of extended trend lines, of finding pullbacks, pivot points, and resistance. And everybody have a great day, and high five.